Welcome to my new vlog called The Rally Show. In each edition I'll be bringing you interviews from competitors, marshals, organisers, ex-competitors, basically everybody connected to the sport. We'll also be going visiting competitors to see what's in their garage, and we'll also be going around classic forest stages, just a bit of everything to do with rallying most weeks. So today I'm away to see a man about a 6R4 and a few Sunbeams. So the gentleman I'm going to see today is called Robin Hamilton. Robin's been around the sport for nearly 45 years in Scotland and has had a lot of Sunbeams, and he got a 6R4 back in 2000. I myself am no fan of 6R4s. People that know me know that. They think I'm crazy. I'm not sure the reason I don't like them, to be honest with you. I think it goes back to the 80s when Jimmy McRae was one of my heroes, when he was beating everybody in the Manta 400 in the British Championship. Then all of a sudden Tony Ponda and Malcolm Wilson get the ARG deal to do the WRC in 85. I was kind of gutted with that, so I started disliking them. And then to my dismay, Jimmy McRae went and got one as well in 86. So it also goes back to Donald Heggie was another hero of mine. When he was in the Quattro, Ken would come along in the 6R4 and started beating him. So I've got a few reasons for not liking Metros. I'm hoping today that Robin will change my mind. I'll get a look at his one. So here we are, folks. I'm not going to lie, I'm like a kid in a sweetie shop here. There's far more cars than I thought there would be. So Robin, thanks very much for inviting me along today.
No problem, Bob, no problem.
Tell me a bit about this. Is this the TI, is it?
This is my Sunbeam Ti. It's the second Sunbeam we bought. Used to rally it years and years ago, and it had a 1600 BD in it. Done really well in it. Third in the Tour of Mill, won the class numerous times. Car's fantastic. Just a great thing to drive.
So you've had it a while then, eh?
Had it a long, long time.
You'll not be getting rid of this one?
No. Ewan drives it now. My nephew drives it. Okay. It's not quite finished yet. It's not a million miles away.
It's absolutely gorgeous. So, tell me a bit about this car. Where did you get this car, Robin?
Well, Rob McDonald, the scrutineer pal of mine, came and got me one day and says, do you want a Quattro? And I says, aye, possibly. So he took me up to a garage at a farm at Turnhouse, and it was lying under loads of chicken shit and all sorts of stuff. And I managed to buy it there and then.
So, how much did you pay? Come on.
I paid £1,700 for the car. That was about 10 years ago.
Unbelievable.
Which was an absolute steal at the time.
Unbelievable.
Spent a bit on it, but that's what you do.
It's absolutely stunning.
I will be. I'm not finished it totally yet, but it's getting there.
And you're going to take 1800, did you say, today?
Aye. If you insist, Bob.
Lovely. Get those arches.
Alright.
So Robin, this is one of your newer cars.
Aye.
Where did this one come from?
This one was built by Gordon Boyd years and years ago. It's done half an event and one test day with me up at Knockhill. That's the only time we've used it at all. It was a no expense spared job. Gordon spent absolute fortunes on it for his laddie with Johnny, who emigrated to Australia.
Right, right.
So even Gordon didn't do a rally in it, so it's practically a new car. It's
So why are you not getting out there?
I've just no had the opportunity to use it yet. But well.
Stunning. Now we have the Lotus, folks. Another Sunbeam. See the engine in this. That's a sight. That's a sight, that, for sore eyes. Look at that. So tell me a bit about this car, Robin.
Well, this is a car we've been building for probably the last 4 or 5 years. It's basically a works copy car. The engine was built by Phil Davidson. Decided to treat myself and get him to build an engine for me. I normally do my own engines, but I had a big birthday coming up, so Phil agreed to build an engine. This is the car we built ourselves, bare shell. It's a Lotus shell. It's got all the right parts in it. I believe most of the suspension parts came off Russell Brooks's car.
Really?
Originally.
So how long have you had the car?
Well, we've just finished it for last year. They've done the Western Park rally with it, just that rally history.
The demo runs.
That's the only rally I've ever done it. I've done a couple of tests up at Crail with it.
Is this the car I sat in?
No, you were
It's in the Ti, isn't it?
No, I didn't get. The time I was going to get a run, I had bother with the brakes in it.
So what's your plans for this one? Have you got any firm plans?
This one we're doing Ingliston with my old Barbados co-driver Steve McNulty. So we're doing Ingliston as a shakedown for Barbados, and then we're prepping it to go to Barbados.
Quite contrasting events, weren't they?
Yeah, similar but different, I suppose.
Brilliant. Here we have a road-going Lotus Sunbeam, which Robin has promised me for £2,000. What's the deal with this, mate?
Well, this one here is a one owner. I always wanted a Lotus Sunbeam, and it came looking for me. Basically, one of my customers said, "Oh, my pal's got one of them, and he's looking to sell it." So little below it, half a mile away, this was tucked away in a garage, and
half a mile?
It was half a mile away from the garage. So I went and looked at it, and I thought, great. I'm expecting them to say we wanted about 20 grand for it. So I got it for a little less than that. I paid £9,000 for it, and they're rocketing up in value now. So I've done a wee partial restore on it, but it's quite a clean motor.
See, the next time you go and buy a car, or I want to buy a car, you're coming with me.
There's not that many of them about nowadays, Bob. That's the problem. Try to get decent stuff is a big issue. That's it's a one owner's car. Low mileage.
The pension.
Part of the pension fund, aye.
Oh look, another Sunbeam Lotus. Something I would love to have. Tell me about this one, Robin.
Well, this is the first one I built. I bought this probably about 15 years ago now, and it came from Aberdeen. It was part of a guy's estate that had died, and when we got it back and put it in the ramp, it was absolutely rotten, so we had to do a total rebuild. So it was a bare shell for quite a long time.
Right.
Rebuilt all the suspension, put floor pans in it, and it's ended up looking like this. So it's a cracking car, lovely thing to drive.
Looks fantastic. Can't seem to do you take your cars out for a play?
I do some of these Anorak Lotus Owner Club
really?
stuff like that. We just done one down in the Lake District in October. That was great fun.
Absolutely.
I was the only Lotus Sunbeam. It was all Lotus Elises and stuff like that.
Oh really?
So, but this got more attention than any of them, can I show you?
Definitely. So here we have a Saab, folks. Robin's a bit unsure whether to make it a rally car or a road car. I think it's far too nice to be a rally car. Where did you acquire this one from, Robin?
Where did I get this one? It was sort of another barn find through the west. And the original shell was that rotten, it folded up when we put it in the trailer. So we got donated another shell, but the shell wasn't quite right, so we chopped all the roof and put the original roof panel off the original shell onto a different body to get the window sizes proper. So it's turned out looking like this.
So you're not sure whether to do it up and do the REC?
I want to do the REC before I retire totally. That's probably going to be my last major event, and I thought that would probably be a decent enough thing to have a bit of fun in.
Fantastic looking
My
car.
other cars are a bit too good to put on these roads.
You're absolutely right. And another Sunbeam. I take it this car here is just it's going to remain a road car.
This will never get changed into anything else.
You have robbed it already, haven't you, for
I
parts?
actually rob it to finish the rally car to go to Western Park, so that's why there's bits missing off it.
And here we have a Mini, which you've rebuilt. And here we have the Austin Mini Metro 1.1.
I think you still don't like 604 pop.
I don't dislike them. I don't dislike them. I'll tell you what, it's all to do with the 80s. How my heroes kind of got... They didn't get the drives I think they deserved.
Well, Tony Ford must be one of them, eh?
I think he stole Jimmy's seat. But you got to remember he was loyal to Rover in their kind of lean years with the...
Definitely.
What's the history?
This originally was a works car.
Really?
Tony Teasdale.
Oh, the New Zealander?
New Zealander. Keep in touch with him to this day on
Really?
Facebook, him and his son.
This wasn't the car he did 86 REC in, was it?
Then in the days it was a total international with the 3 litre engine.
Yes.
Few folk had it after that, one of them being Tony Janetta. I bought the car off Tony.
I was talking to Tony yesterday online.
I think Tony only ever done a couple of events in it. He didn't quite like the 2.8 power, but we realised the ECU was turned away doing, so it only had a quarter of the power it should have had.
Really?
So we've restored it and rebuilt it, do the engine myself, Ian and myself do the transmission and everything.
So how long have you had this car? 2000, aye.
2000,
Well, so you've only had the 16R4?
the one's enough.
One's enough.
One is enough. But it's been a fantastic car. I've been lucky enough to win a few events in it.
Yes, aye, I know. We'll talk about that in a wee while. Moment. So Robin, you started out in 1979.
That's correct.
What actually got you into sport?
Basically, when I was a wee lad that lived next door to a garage, and they used to help Willie Crawford with his rally car.
Right.
And the mechanics in there got me involved in that, so I used to love going in about the garage after school. And I think the first event they took me to was the Snowman. That was a long, long time ago, and ever since then I've been hooked. Never thought I'd ever be driving the cars myself. I was quite happy working on them, and the opportunity came along to buy a Mark 1 Escort when I worked at Little France service station with the owner Gordon Gibson at the time. We went sort of halfers on an old banger an Escort. Done it up, it was a 2 litre, and started rallying in the forests. And the first event I done was the Trossachs, 1979.
Do you remember that well? How you felt before it and stuff?
Oh, aye, it was just such a thrill to be competing. I think we were running car 145 or something like that, right at the tail end of the field. It was getting dark when we were starting the rally. Had the usual few offs and got a finish, and that was the first event we done, and I was really buzzing after that.
Was you hooked?
That was me hooked, eh?
So you kept the Escort till 1985, then you changed to a Sunbeam. Why the change? Because I mean you're synonymous with Sunbeams now.
Aye,
so why the change? When you think about it, a lot of people would go to Escorts now.
That's right.
In the last
that's
20
right.
years.
I don't know why it came about. Got the chance to buy my first Sunbeam off Billy McMillan. I don't know how the deal came about, but I fancied something different, and I bought his Sunbeam, and right away we were competitive in the class. We seemed to do first, second, third in the class all the time, and I had more luck in Sunbeams than I ever had in Escorts. And it progressed from there. We put a BDA in one and started winning the class regularly, even down south. We were doing a lot of events down south and doing a lot of border raids and coming back with the trophies. So,
superb.
So that was good.
So you, from 85 to 88, we were predominantly on gravel. Excuse me. But then you kind of changed focus completely to tarmac. Why was that?
Started doing rallies like Tour de Mall, and I seemed to be more successful on tar. I think I had a reasonable tidy style of driving that suited the tar. But like I say, I enjoy both. I'd love to go back into the gravel again just to finish my rallying, but we'll see what happens.
You did some great events in the gravel. You did the 83 Scottish, which was a mammoth event. You know, a 4.5 day event, stuff like that. Fond memories, eh?
That was something else. I had a lot of good guys round about me. Gordon Boyd, Big Ronnie Young, who's passed away recently, sadly enough. A lot of good support. A bit of sponsorship for MFI at the time, the furniture folk, so it was a brilliant event, really hard event. We managed to win our class on that, so done okay.
So you moved on then, and arguably, I know you've won a few rallies, but arguably your best result was third place in Tour de Mall, 1990.
Well, that was an incredible event. It just seemed to go right for us. We had a lot of luck, even to the fact that the clutch cable snapped and we still managed to hold third place. We were driving just without the clutch. Got folk to push us off the start line on the last stage, coming across the lochs, and I never missed a gear without a clutch the whole way across. Just everyone was absolutely spot on.
Who was your opposition in those days?
Overall, it was Ron Beecroft. We were matching times with him. Andy Knight ran away and hid in the sort of work spec Nova at the time, I think it was. But we had a good tussle at the front, and we couldn't believe the times we were putting up, setting some cracking times for the car we had. I mean, it was a 1600 BDA in a Sunbeam. Weather played into our hands a bit. I think there was a bit of rain here and there, quite slippy, and I quite liked the slippy conditions. So.
Was that an event? Was that one of your favourite events?
Done it a lot of years, had a lot of good results up there. Started doing the weird rallies that they organised, the Tobermory 200. I always had some great results. Was never out the top.
Any famous mill accidents? No.
Oh, I've had loads of them. I've been doing a ravine. And
what's your biggest accident you've had in the sport?
Probably hitting a shed at Stubbs.
Oh, right.
About 70 mile an hour to a dead stop. Burst the brake pipe. We were doing well that day as well, unfortunately. Burst the brake pipe, lost my brakes and straight into a shed flat out, so that was
okay?
got it down. Pretty shaken. Ian Edwards, my co-driver, was like Quasimodo for a few weeks after that one. We didn't have hands devices in the days.
No, absolutely not.
So that's probably one of the biggest accidents I've had. I've had a few rolls and stuff like that. I had quite a big one on Jim Clark in the snow. I was probably doing alright there or not, to be honest.
In the snow, was that the gravel event?
When it was the gravel,
Excuse me.
I think I was lying about 3rd or 4th overall when I binned that.
So you've obviously got fond memories of the Sunbeams and that, but then so why they changed to a 6R4 in the year 2000?
John Brody was responsible for that. He phoned me up and says, "Bob, you would do great in a Metro, there's one coming up for sale." And I thought, I could never afford a Metro anyway. Sort of talked me into it. It was Tony Janetta that was selling the car, so I went to look at it. It was Chris Woods was looking after it in the days down in Peterborough, so just so happens we were working on the RAC and we ended up down there. I looked at the car and I thought, oh, it's stunning. Took the cover off, it was in pure white. I'd hardly done any work since it was rebuilt, so I managed to come home and talk to Vanessa, and now my wife, and I said, "What have we got any spare cash? Are you in a good mood?"
Aye. Here's a bunch of fellas.
Anyway, we ended up getting the money together, and it was Ewan that went and got the car for me off Tony. You had to meet him.
Tony Teasdale.
No, Tony.
Oh, Tony Fee. Aye, sorry.
Tony Janetta.
Janetta, aye.
Tony Janetta. Tony was going away to buy a rally car, another Metro from Ireland. So Ewan met him at Abingdon with a big bag of money. So
right, okay, like a big drugs deal.
A big drugs deal. So
it must have been
Kenny Colbert, I think Tony ended up buying Kenny Colbert's car, and we ended up buying the Metro. So.
But it must have been incredible the first time you jumped in it, coming out of the Sunbeam.
It was, to be fair, I think the first event we ever done in it was down in Darlington.
The Croft, was it?
The Croft, so we done a wee test at Kames on the way south, and that was the first time I'd driven it, and it was really heavy snow. So it was madness getting in that day, and that really taught me how the car handled and all the rest of it, because I did find its limits a few times. But we went and entered that rally, and I think we were 4th overall, and it's no bad for a first run in the Metro.
Absolutely. So I mean, you've won a few events. You won the airport stages, haven't you? The
I won that
stages.
4 or 5 times. Yeah. Won Milltown a couple of times.
What did you?
I won a couple at Kames.
What's your standout victory?
Probably Milltown. That was my first ever outright win.
Okay.
That was a brilliant event. There again, the car ran faultlessly. I had a really good service crew behind me. Ewan does a fantastic job. The car's always minted. That's probably the outstanding victory in the Metro, I think. And then we won a few after that. We were lucky enough to win a few in the bounce. So.
Okay. You've just written down here some stuff, and then you had an accident in a Subaru at Ingliston, is that right? You actually went a bit modern.
I did actually. That's my pal Sam McFadgen's car. He stupidly agreed to let me use the car for Ingliston. That was a few years ago now, and he was co-driving, and I've never seen anybody turn green in all my life. Anyway, we struggled for the word go because it wasn't running right. The cam timing had jumped.
Right.
And unfortunately we got T-boned that day.
Oh really? So didn't he
pushed off into the scenery?
It didn't make you run out and buy a Subaru?
No, I enjoyed driving it, but I don't think a Subaru's for me. They're too easy to drive.
Really? So you want to challenge yourself, eh?
I like short wheelbase cars. They keep you on your toes. They're never in a straight line.
So, what's your plans this year? Are you off to Barbados again?
That's the plan anyway. We're going to shake the works Sunbeam down in Ingliston. Steve McNally's coming up for London to co-drive for me. He co-drives for me in Barbados. So we're using that as a shakedown, and then hopefully go to Barbados. Vanessa's going to co-drive for me on both the rallies out in Barbados. Looking forward to that.
So, apart from the beautiful weather, great rally and the rum, and all this type of stuff, what is the lure of Barbados?
Probably the folk that go, they're all absolutely nuts.
Really?
Like
a carnival type atmosphere?
Every time you step out the door, somebody puts a rum in your hand or a beer in your hand. Not when you're competing, obviously, but we have big parties after every sort of leg of the event. King of the Hills, fantastic. That's a sort of qualifying rally. Big party after that. So it is a party island, definitely. And the people in Barbados are absolutely amazing. And
could we learn from that in this country?
Definitely. They're all so laid back. The locals just love the event. Like, the slippier the better. Every time it rains there, the roads are made out of coral. It's like driving on ice. There's zero grip. And I think that throws a bit of entertainment into the event, because you can never predict the weather. I'd just like to say a big thanks to my sponsors, Gleaner, Stephen Scott and his family, who make it possible for us to go to Barbados. They pay a big chunk of the cost for us to go to Barbados, so it's really good.
It's cheap, can it really?
It's not a cheap event, but if you're not doing that many events, it makes sense.
Well, that's right, aye. So, just a couple of basic questions. I mean, I just asked you if we could learn from that event, you know. What would you change about the sport in the UK? Or does it need change in your opinion?
It'd be nice to have a more level playing field. I mean, nowadays, if you want to win an event, you've got to be a millionaire and you've got to have an R5. It looks like that to me anyway. Further down the classes, there's folk doing really, really well in wee cars, and it's a shame the minute there's half a dozen R5s, you're not going to get near them. And that is a problem. And I think that's taking a lot of the thrill away for the sport.
And the thing is as well, if it's not an R5, it's £120,000 escort in Wellington.
It is. But there again, they'll not compete really against the R5s in certain conditions.
Not now. The thing is, how does a guy in a Nova, like a 1600 Nova, who's really good on a Crail airfield, how does he make that leap to the top with an R5?
I don't think you can now. You could in my day. Because there's a lot of guys in 1300s, like Gordon Boyd, Jerry Fitzel, all of these guys. They've managed to do really well in the sport and got up CC, big classes and all the rest of it, and won events overall. But I don't think you can do that now, unless you're a millionaire.
I agree with you entirely. I think something really needs to be done. So, I mean, you've been in the sport now for, what, 43 years? How long do you see yourself going now?
Well, let's say...
rephrase that. How long would the wife let you do it now?
No, she co-drives, so Vanessa loves it, I know. I just pick and choose events. I'm not doing any championships. I love the historic side. I mean, that old car there is an amazing thing to drive. The works drives guys must have had big balls to drive these things. Definitely.
Incredible.
I don't know how they've done it.
They're so chuckable, aren't they though? Like the Chevette, you know, you could really chuck it into a corner.
If you could get a right good historic championship going here in Scotland for Forest and Tar.
It's never taken off, is it? Never taken off in Scotland.
And the other problem is, when we enter a historic event, say, and all the classes get mingled together, so somebody like Ewan in that 1600s historic cars got no chance against me in the 2.2. There's no danger. So that is an issue, I know. For the expense of another cheap trophy, got to buy it myself just to separate the classes.
Absolutely. It's always struggled, the historic stuff in Scotland. I don't understand it, you know. But anyway, Robin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. It was a real treat today, and I would just like to say a massive thank you to Robin Hamilton for looking after me. Square sausage on rolls, tea, everything. Nothing was a problem. The cars just looked fantastic. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank today's sponsor, and that's 5 Star Delivery. A lot of you up in Scotland will know James Gibb. He does a lot for the sport up here, so if anybody's ever want any vehicles shifted, 5 Star Delivery, give them a call. That's about it for this video. Just to say that in the next couple of editions I'll be going to visit a proper works, ex-works Chevette HSR, also an ex-McRae Focus, and I'll be interviewing a 3-time British Rally champion, so we'll see you soon. Please give the video a like and subscribe, and you'll not have to miss any. Thank you very much for watching. Bye just now.